Good evening. Welcome to the August 1st, 2017 State City Council meeting. Donna, roll call.
Mayor Brusky.
Here.
Member Bolter.
Here.
Member Burns.
Here.
Member Geary.
Here.
Member Baker.
Here.
Member Haas.
Here.
Member Lynn.
Here.
City Administrator Gibson.
Here.
City Attorney Etch.
Here. All rise for prayer and pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, anyone from the audience would like to speak to council, please stand up, give your name, address, and state which one you're talking about. Go ahead, Jamie.
Mary Cornett, 225 Third. I just want to let everybody know that the Kite Festival will be September 30th this year from noon to 5. I want to thank all of the council members who came and helped out at Music Fest. I will be asking for volunteers again for the Kite Festival. It actually requires more people to work Kite Festival than I need for Music Fest. So anybody that you know that wants to help out, please let us know. The second thing I wanted to ask about and talk about a little bit was the YMCA building. And for those that have already responded by email, thank you. But I still want to just touch base on it. I guess I know you've already got somebody lined up, and I got your email, and that was great. But if it doesn't go through, I really think we need to sometimes think inside the box rather than outside of the box. The City Club and the other boards could use this place for a meeting space, as well as storage, and as well as fundraiser activities. If the Civic Club had this event, had this location, we could have a lot of our events there. We could have spaghetti dinner fundraisers, we could do casino nights. There's all kinds of things we can do that I don't have to depend on another venue to beg and to be able to use their place. I know you said, why can't we go back to the VFW? We've outgrown that. There's not enough space there for us. This year, Kent County Library will be coming, setting up a booth. They're gonna actually give out books to the kids. They're gonna take that role over for us. We've got other vendors that are gonna start setting up at Christmas time. It's just, we just need the place, we need a space. We can't keep storing stuff in 701. It's too moldy, can't breathe. When Donna and I go in there to get the stuff ready for the workers to come, we literally try to keep it under 10 minutes. So, because it's so hard to breathe. You can't keep storing stuff in there and then bringing it out to the public and all these, you don't know what kind of mold, if it's black mold, all these spores are going all over the place. It's just not safe. It's not safe to keep our stuff there anymore. And actually, if we don't find a place, I don't know, we just can't keep keeping things at 701. It's in too bad a shape. But I just want you to think about it. Sometimes think inside the box on what does this city need and the people in the city need before we turn it out to people renting the place. We're not landlords. The city's not supposed to be a landlord. It's really not. But I understand why you're doing it. It's just, I don't know, we just really had some major plans for that space. Just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Tammy, how much storage do you need?
Right now, we have 3 full rooms of stuff. When I started, we had, not counting the Christmas stuff, we had a whole room of Christmas stuff, but I had a couple of tents, a couple of tables, and a couple of miscellaneous boxes. Now we have 3 full rooms. We've been, people have donated games to us. We bought games from different places for like under $50. We have tin soldiers now, the cutout for Christmas time. We have a basketball court thing, and we have a lot of inventory. Our inventory. Huh? Oh yeah, we bought eight tents. We bought more tables. There's 2. Even if they give us 2 rooms, that's why it's not enough. If you count our Christmas stuff, it's just not enough room.
I know you keep mentioning 701. 701 is set to be demolished shortly.
I know, it is. Even if they didn't demolish it shortly, I wouldn't want our stuff, I don't want our
What
stuff
about
in there, I told
503?
Virgil before.
503, had a family living in it.
And Barry, you been in there?
No, I haven't, I will be soon.
Pretty gross.
But it had a family living in it this week. So I'm wondering why we can't store stuff in there, or the other two buildings that we.
Well, I'm not gonna put any of our stuff anywhere where there are
I wouldn't ask you to.
possible, roaches, bugs, whatever you wanna call
I
them.
wouldn't ask you to, I haven't been in there, but
It's not.
I'm gonna.
I don't understand, from my understanding, it's not a good place. It's
Okay.
not any better than 701. At least I don't see bugs at 701,
But seriously, 701.
because the mold
You
you
cannot breathe at 701. We go upstairs, we get what we need. I open the windows when we go up. By the time we're leaving, we're coughing and we head out.
I'm asking about the other three buildings that we recently acquired.
Yeah, I've heard, well, there's issues with the other buildings too.
I'd like to have them looked at least
I mean, I don't,
before we just say, we don't need this space, it could be.
I mean, they're all being demolished.
but I still think you're missing the point. I'm more concerned about having a place, a city center, community center, whatever you want to call it, a place to have things. Storage, I'll put them in my garage if I have to, or in my basement.
And you can use mine as well.
Huh?
No mold, no bugs.
Well, that's true. My landlord wouldn't like that, would they? But I'm more concerned about just us having a venue, having a place. We can't do it at the Eagles. I know the last time I was up there, they don't even rent it out anymore because their air conditioning's not working. It's not a viable place for us to have any kind of event like that. There's steps, if you've got kids and if you have wheelchairs, strollers, all that stuff. If you have W, we've got Broome. My next choice would be to look into some churches, I guess. But it would be nice if the city club, if this doesn't go through, that we have this venue for us to use as fundraisers. Well, you could even have a community, I know Bellevue has a potluck dinner every month. We could do something like that. It would be no effort on my part to put the announcement out and make a crock pot of something and say, bring your food and we all sit together and eat. That's no effort. That's minimal. So there's a lot of possibilities for it. And my other question is, if this money was donated for a community center, is there anything in the original paperwork from this donation that we got to build this building that we can or cannot lease it?
No, it's, we can do whatever we want.
Because I know, like, Dick Callahan got us that, right?
We have, there's a common problem, and it goes beyond just having a community center or somewhere to host events. We have a storage problem. Whether it's short-term or long-term, we have a storage problem. If we tear down 701, like we were going to, we still have a storage problem. If we tear down 503, 501, 505, we still have a storage problem. The YMCA building is going to be torn down. We have a tenant that's interested in it now, but they're under, we've been very clear with them that it's going to have to be a year-to-year lease because it's in the Manhattan Harbor development footprint. So even that space, if we had it for storage right now, isn't a long-term solution to our storage problem because it's going to be torn down too. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. And it would be nice to have a community center to host events. We don't have that right now. We would like to have that at some point. We don't have any room at the city building to store stuff. Places we do store are getting ready to be demolished. So
But if
we've got a longer-term problem to figure out than just short-term solutions to storage.
But even if it's not demolished for 5 years, and we all know it's not gonna be done before then, that's 5 years of a community center that we can use to do things at. It's just kind of my thought.
On the storage issue,
Good.
on the storage issue, not only for your supplies, but also the things in the city building that I know you're taking down to the YMCA building, your lack of space. At the end of 4th Street, we've got a new storage place, a business right here in town. Maybe we could talk to them and see what their rates are and make some kind of a deal. It's clean, it's dry, it's safe, it's protected. I mean, if we're running out of cubic feet to store things, that's an alternative there. And it's a business that's right here in town.
Good idea.
Anyone else?
Again, I mean, that's a good idea, but can the city club afford it? I don't know. You know, when we get $3,500 a year and we have these fundraisers,
Well, whatever storage we come up with is going to go beyond just the Civic Club. So I wouldn't worry too much about the Civic Club can or can't afford something. We need need space beyond just things that the civic club has. We have things that the police department has, the public works department has, that the general offices in the city have. It's beyond just a civic club problem, it's a city problem.
I just got frustrated because I feel like the city club has done a lot for the city and we continue to do a lot, but I seem like I have to fight every step of the way, whether it's with the park board or the whoever. It just, we should be all one group of people kind of discussing things amongst ourselves, and I don't know, I just feel like we don't always know what's going on, so just frustration.
We need a developer to give some money so we can build a city building for storage. I think there are a lot of them.
We'll take care of it.
Anyone else like to address council?
I would. I am Chris Gold, I live at 419 Fairview Avenue. I am addressing council on behalf of my neighborhood. We are looking for signage to be put up in place for children at play. We'd like some more speed limit signs put up. We have one. We are an average size block. More than that, we are looking for speed bumps to be put in place. I know that's a touchy subject, and I know the differences that it can bring to emergency staff, bringing their vehicles down the streets, snowplows, things like that. We are on a very narrow street. We are required, not necessarily, it's not written in the ordinances for us to park on the sidewalks. Our kids play in the streets, they're riding their bikes, they're riding their scooters. 12 houses, 15 kids. That gives you any type of idea what we're dealing with up there with our kids. The speed limit's 25. So even if one side were to park in the street, cars can't pass. So because we keep it open and we're on the sidewalks, we have a lot of people that drive down the street, and quite frankly, they don't have any business being on the street if they don't live there. There's alternate ways around. I have petitions from every neighbor asking for speed bumps. I have petitions from every neighbor. I'm going to take that back. All but 3 homes. One home has recently been acquired. Don't know what's going on down there, except the squatters live there. Not really sure. One home not very friendly with them, and the other home they're on vacation. I'll talk to them when they get back on the 5th. So the neighborhood that I'm representing is asking for these things, and they've all said, yeah, this is what we want. Tell me what we do. Tell me what the process is from here.
Bill, first of all, the city manager would have to go look at what you're talking about.
Yes.
So he can bring a report back to council.
Okay.
Let them see it. Police department has to go, fire department has to go see what, you're talking about streets, moving the street in and out. Make sure we've got enough room to get a fire equipment through there. That's what will have to happen.
Now, let me ask you, does that affect having a speed bump installed?
The reason we don't do speed bumps because we gotta do snow plowing and you can't put a bump there and then the plow hits the bump.
Can we go to salt instead of snowplow on our street?
We do both, probably.
Yeah. Is there any way to just say, okay, let's don't plow the street?
No, we can't do that for you. You said Fairview, right?
I'm Fairview, top of the hill. You guys paved our streets last year.
Yeah.
Did our curbs?
Yeah.
I've been paying attention around other neighborhoods, and I've
Yeah.
seen, not bumps, I think about bump is a pile of concrete in the middle of the street. I've seen humps, which would be like a gradual incline, peak, and then a decline on the other side. Then they have a sign next to it that says speed hump. I look at the chief, I look at our public works, and to see, is that something that we could incorporate? I mean, they have, in one neighborhood in Cincinnati, I saw like 5 of them down the same street.
So there are a lot in Cincinnati. We are originally from the east side, and you'll see them in neighborhoods. These are very wide streets, though. But there is a difference between a speed bump and a speed hump on the research that we've done, that when you have a bump, it'll slow the traffic down to 10 miles an hour or under. But when you have a hump, it's only taking them down to 20 to 10 miles an hour. And we're already a 25-mile-an-hour street, which number one is too fast, so we're asking for 10 miles an hour. So the bumps, tiny, the humps, big. Both serving the same purpose. Yeah, the humps are more gradual, but if we're going from 25 to just a 20 or a 15, I don't know, is that worth it? Can we do a bump where it is stopping the traffic and making it worth it for us? That's what we're looking at. We're looking at the safety of the neighborhood, so we need them down below 10 miles an hour to make it safe.
You said you get a lot of out-of-the-way traffic?
Yes, you wouldn't believe
No, I
it.
wouldn't.
You wouldn't believe what happens, and if you're unfamiliar with Fairview, the house that just sold on the end, it's been up for sale for years. I think they just acquired it $175,000. If you look on the MLS listing, it's cited for 36 units. Now, the rumor mill on the street is 9 units will be built when they demolish those houses, 4 acres. So, while the rumor mill on the street, I mean, we're a small street, we're talking. They say the traffic will go out the other side, but let's say they don't. Let's say it is 36 units, right? 2 people in a house, 72 cars driving down our street if they're not going out the other end. If it's not, that's 18 more cars going down it. Very, very narrow street. We're already on the sidewalks. And we have a lot of walkers. I mean, we have children. We have 15 kids. They're walking to school. They don't have bus service any longer. But we also have a lot of people, because we're on that hill, that is great exercise. So they are coming from Grants Park to walk down and back up. I mean, I don't applaud them that much, that hill is a beast, but that's what they're doing. I mean, so we get a lot of foot traffic.
I mean, council can lower the speed limit. but we
Great,
still gotta-
what can you lower
We
to?
still gotta look at
Okay.
street, we gotta look at, bumps and stuff like that, but I mean, public works, we gotta look, I mean, and then fire department, like I said.
Yes.
Chief has to look at it, and give some ideas, and Michael has to look at it.
What was your name again?
Chris with a K, my last name is Gold. We talked, I bugged you about paving the streets, and I'll probably call you about this at some point too. So what is the minimum speed limit you can get me to? Can you get us to 10? Which is ultimately like what we would like.
Chief, what do you think?
Do you go 10?
I do go 10 because my kids are out there, and I'm not going to be the one going down for taking out a kid.
What's your recommendation?
It's just like any other street in the city, the kids playing and things like that. It's 25 miles an hour.
How many streets in Dayton are 10? We have a handful. How many are there?
None.
I thought it listed in the ordinances. Am I missing that there were a few that were 10?
There's none.
All right, let us be the first, because we got a lot of kids out there, and quite frankly, we are in a very old neighborhood. These are 60-year-old houses where the neighbors watched them being built. And so now we're in a whole other, our neighbors are in their 90s, and now we are young families with young children, all under the age of 18, that are actually the first year ever that they're really playing together. So we can count on you guys to look for a speed limit change?
We will look at it, we'll meet with the chief, you go up there and look. Chief, let's take a look at it, let's see where we're at. Let's
Okay.
get a recommendation next month from the chief of police, where we're at. Mike will go up and look at it. Like I said, the fire chief will go up and we'll take a look at, the distance, so we get trucks through there. And speed bumps, I don't see that happening.
What are your other challenges with speed bumps besides emergency personnel in this?
Just plow snow, I mean, we're careful plow, if we hit a bump. I mean, the speed bump, we're careful plow.
The good thing is, we've got somewhere to start, and we'll go
Yeah.
and look at it, and maybe, as you said, the first things you mentioned were maybe new speed limit signs, maybe more speed limit signs, maybe children in play signs.
Well, let me bring you back to that. When we moved up there, and this is before I had children, we had one. Slow down, the kids are at play sign. We have none. We have one speed limit sign in the middle of the street, so not at the beginning. And if you're unfamiliar, it's blind corner. It's fast. You hit it hard.
We could
But at least we can do that.
Yeah, we could put a children playing sign.
We want multiples. We would like them at several intervals. We'd like to have at least 6 up there.
I just came down.
It is a lot, but that's one for every kid. That's one for every 3 children.
If we get that in every neighborhood, there's neighborhoods very similar to yours. We start putting up 6 signs at every neighborhood that requests it.
I can see one on each end of the street.
That's gonna be a lot of time.
Well, I'm only saying 6 because if you're coming this way, you're not seeing it. I'm thinking on both sides of the pole. So when I'm offering you that we would like 6, it's so you can see it coming or going, no matter where you start your journey on our street. So that was my thought process behind that.
I just came down, we talked about this. I just came down the street, just on the way down here, just to make sure. There's a nice little cone there that says slow children.
So you were the one.
You were the one in the silver car.
You know what?
I appreciate that.
You know what? A little kid came screaming out of the driveway on a scooter.
Yes.
There's streets. okay? I don't, they have to be mindful that they are streets. Yes, I agree, the traffic, it's a very narrow street, you've got no sidewalks, the getting in and out of your car is difficult. The speed limit issue, 25, it's 25 all through town, I don't know what, with the chief's input. I would strongly suggest, I mean, that little sign, that little cone is a reminder. And I would definitely back having slow children play at each end of the street, down at the top of Locust. Because when you come up Locust, you're still accelerating a little bit, and then coming off Dayton Avenue.
Yes.
6 is too much, and I think that would kind of.
What's the general number for a street that long, seriously, because I don't, like, how many would you put up? Two, one on either end?
Yeah.
Okay. What about posted speed limit signs? How many are normal for a street that long? Because there's one that's in the middle.
Well, you put too many up and they lose effect.
It doesn't have any effect anyways. It's in the middle and forward in front of someone's home and it says 25. So you're in mid-journey and you've already come past 5 homes with children and, you know.
I think I'll make the motion. Let's try this first, okay? Because it's going to be a while for everybody to get up there and do a study and everything. I'll make a motion to put up children at play signs, whatever the standard is, at both ends of the streets, at the top of Locust, and at the end down by Dayton Avenue, wherever the nearest pole is to those intersections. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
I appreciate that.
Let's see if this works.
That's it. Do I talk to you about anything else? Do I do these petitions? What do I do? I've not been to a meeting before. What's my next?
If you want to get the petitions, they're done.
Okay. I'm new to meetings. I don't know what I'm. Get some petitions from the neighbors. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Anyone else would like to address council? Go ahead.
Hi, I hope you don't mind if I read this.
What is your name?
My name is Beth Field. I'm at 1005 Lincoln Road, and I thank you for the opportunity to address the council. I've been a resident of Dayton, Kentucky for about 1.5 years now, and one of the reasons my husband and I chose to settle in Dayton, and the main reason we chose our house was because of the historic aspect of our home, as well as the beautiful architecture that lines the city's main streets. So today I felt compelled to speak to request that the city administration reconsider their plans to demolish a house at 701 Berry. I may not know the entire history of the plans for the city building, being a new resident. However, I do know that a lot can and has changed in the 10 years since it was first proposed. In that time, the slated spaces for the building has transformed into a beloved park in the heart of the city, and there is still a historic home standing on those grounds. It pains me to see that the city would choose to demolish a historic building rather than repurpose it. The benefits of keeping a home like this far outweigh the drawbacks. Firstly, the economic advantage is huge. As we know, small, local, privately owned businesses thrive in environments like older buildings and established cities. Research has shown that small businesses like bookstores, coffee shops, antique stores, and non-chain restaurants thrive in these types of buildings. Take, for example, the 3 newest restaurants in Dayton, Trotta's, Hometown Heroes, and Body of Art are all in historic repurposed buildings. These businesses would not be able to afford new construction. They need the types of buildings that Dayton has. And while the property at 6 and Berry may not be available for a private business, tearing it down sends a message to prospective businesses that the city does not value them. I ask you to look around and see what cities and areas are flourishing and which are struggling. For example, Over the Rhine is arguably one of the most popular neighborhoods in Cincinnati right now, an urban area with reimagined and refurbished historic houses and buildings. Dayton has that same potential. People appreciate historic architecture, art, and culture, and this home can showcase the history and fabric of our city, where a newly constructed building does not. The home has structural value, and as the saying goes, they just don't make them like they used to. So finally, you cannot undo a tear down. The possibilities for restoring and reusing this little house are endless. It could be used for meeting spaces to welcome investors and planners. It could be used as a potential music venue. I know that we talked about the River City Music Festival. It could grow and grow into something similar to the Midpoint Music Festival that Cincinnati has, in conjunction with other local businesses that showcase music like The Lodge and Sofa Burn Records. It could be used as a city-owned wedding space or other venues for veterans memorials and things, other city spaces. There's not the same potential for a city administration building to repurpose and have all of those events. And Dayton can't claim to be a historic river town if it continues to tear down its history. I know that, Mr. Mayor, you had said that you had no intention of taking away the green space in that area and the memorials and monuments and other amenities that your citizens know and love. And some of us love that house. I know it sounds silly, but 10 years ago, this property was slated for a city administration building, but today, as it stands, there's a lovely park with huge potential that includes a historic home that should be saved. There's no need to take such a desirable enough space without a finalized plan. A lot of us here are parents, or we're maybe managers or bosses in the private sector. You wouldn't support an employee's request for a budget without a clearly defined project, or a kid's desire to drop out of school without a fully formed backup plan in place. You're asking the people of Dayton to support a demolition without a project. So I ask in the very least that until a finalized plan for the new building is in place, that this house be left standing. Please reconsider the outdated plans for location of the newly constructed city building and see the house and park.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address council?
Hi, I'm Karen Strickly. I live back I live in Clay Street. I just wanted to, I've been reading a lot of Facebook and things about the 701 house that I was just talking about. I just wanted to just put it out there that the Main Street Program Board met like back in 2001, I believe it was, when we got the house, and from a grant from the Kentucky Main Street Board. And when we bought that house, we had the Main Street Program look at that house, and they found it not structurally sound. So it was purchased with the thought that it would soon be torn down and a new city building put in. And of course, that didn't happen, but all these years it sat there, and sat there, and sat there, nobody took care of it. It was kind of used for storage. It was, I think there was a GED class put in there for a while, but nobody really fixed it up. And from what I understand now, I was just listening to Don and talking about the smell and the maybe asbestos, stores and things in there. This house, 701, that everybody's really looking at being historical, it's not historical. Just because it's old doesn't make it historical. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. It has not been kept. When we purchased it, it was unstructurally sound, or structurally unsound. So there's, you know, I think there's a lot of, we do want to keep our history, and I've lived here my whole life, so I love Dayton. I love the history behind the house and everything about it. But, you know, I kind of wish that we would tear the house down, because I think it's an eyesore. It's not structurally sound. And it was just the purpose of tearing it down has been something that the city council has carried on for like 20 years. And it's nice to see something stay, because usually with new incoming and outgoing mayors and city council, things change so much through the years. And you know, I'd like to see it. The idea of a new city building, or nothing there, but just green space. But you know, in my opinion, I think we should stay with it and get rid of the eyesores, because that's really what they are. They're not historic.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address council?
Hello, Beth Newman, 625 10th Street. Ready? Okay. I had three things I wanted to bring up. One is what Tammy talked about earlier, which is the YMCA. The Main Street Board has been meeting there for the last couple months now. It's a nice space. I was surprised. I'd been in there years ago for a civic club meeting, but I was really surprised. It has a conference room, it has an open area, it has potential for a kitchen, and it has a great location and great parking. But this is a really nice little space. I kind of heard that eventually it would be demolished, but now we're using it, but now we're renting it, but maybe we're not renting it, maybe it's 5 years. It seems to be consistently with a lot of things that are being brought up. The YMCA, the demolition of those houses, public listings of city-owned property, there seems to be a real lack of accessible information. Stories go around and around and around, you talk to 12 people, you know, and get slightly different stories, like even the YMCA. I was very surprised, Tammy told me about the rental thing, and like that it's potentially being rented. I'm like, that wasn't even on my radar because I thought it was getting torn down. And anyway, I love that place. And because it works well as a meeting space. We have no community center in Dayton. We beg the VFW, if they have availability, they'll let us in. We want to have it at my house, no, that's kind of weird. I mean, it's always a thing. There's no formal place to have meetings. And there are a lot of clubs and organizations in Dayton. That's a great place for that. I wonder why, if we own it, and if it's been at least it's going to be 5 years until it's demolished, why don't we know that that is available as a space before it's either demolished, written off, used for storage, rented out, or anything else? Because it's a public building.
Well, I mean, it came up the YMCA just vacated it in February.
I know.
In the spring, in the council meetings, we had discussions about just using it as storage. Discussion came up in a public council meeting to look into renting it, and that's what we've been doing since. So it's been public information out there. We may not be.
But why rent it if possibly all these clubs and organizations could use it as a meeting place, or even birthday parties, or rent it out occasionally, or, you know, I was kind of half joking, not really, about a Zumba class. You know, why can't we do like things with it because it's city-owned property? Why can't we do things for Dayton?
Well, nothing has been decided on. And so
No,
it just
but I mean, I don't know.
just came up in a discussion for me to look into the possibility of renting it out. And that's all we've been doing.
Right, but when that possibility was broached, why also wasn't the possibility that people in Dayton might use it before it's on the table for renters? I mean, she's kind of funny. Tammy said, think inside the box. That was pretty funny. Yeah, we got some stuff in the box. I mean, like, yeah, we would like to have a nice.
Those are the three things that have been talked about and it's been used for. It's been used right now currently for meetings, so it's available right now for meetings.
Okay.
Being used as storage right now, some elements of it, and we're looking into renting it out. We've got a business that's looking at possibly putting their business in there. They're just doing their due diligence right now. There's no lease.
Okay.
So we're really using it for all three of those right now.
Okay.
Nothing's
So
been decided.
once you did rent it out, it's no longer available to Dayton residents.
That's not necessarily true.
Why?
Because the business that we spoke with it's a healthcare, not healthcare, but health-related business who is looking to offer free, I don't want to say Zumba because I'm not a Zumba person. But I've tried.
Okay.
But they do health classes on physical fitness. They're very interested in the city and growing with the city. They said the meeting space can still be available, storage space can still be available.
Okay.
And it would increase probably $20,000 per month into our budget, which could help fund other programs as well. So it's not like we're renting it out to a bar and grill who said, you know, keep out. This would be the people that are currently interested in it have stated they want to be a part of the community and work with the organizations and clubs.
It seems like over time, you kind of hear of it at the end. Like, I never knew that the YMCA was being possibly available to us. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, like it's on the table.
Who's at a council meeting?
We can't broadcast everything that happens on a daily basis. That's why we do it in public meetings. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want more.
Maybe like just a quick update on the city page. I
Okay,
don't know. Maybe,
just pick up the phone and give me a call. You want to talk about
But I don't know what to ask because I don't know anything that's going, you know what I mean? I
I can't
wouldn't
tell
know
you.
what's going on. I mean, I
I
already
can't tell you
did.
what I'm
I did,
doing.
actually. You told me it's going to be demolished, so no. That was what was in my head. So I was very surprised when I was renting stuff as well. I was like, I thought they were demolishing that. Like, you
So
know.
that was two councils ago?
It is going to be demolished. I mean, it's in the development footprint. It's been in the development footprint for 10 years.
Okay.
Eventually, it will be torn down. Maybe in a year, maybe in 5 years, maybe 10.
I think she had a point that it's nice to even have the free year or 5 years.
And this year we have, thanks to Ms. Strickland, we have a FEMA grant that's allowing us to purchase a brand new fire apparatus that, when split with Bellevue, would be $12,000-ish. the residents the people who are looking to rent this building would effectively pay for a new fire apparatus for our city within 1 year.
I have no problem with tenants. It's just sort of like, we didn't know, we look for meetings, like, we don't want to meet at the VFW and be imposing on them forever. It would be nice for the city to have, and maybe it's not the YMCA in that, but the city to have a place where we can meet that's city property. It's a mini community center that we don't have, but we already own with city money.
I agree. I don't want to have council meetings down here. That's why we're trying to
That
demolish
too.
buildings to put it in
Yeah.
the city building, and then we solve all these problems.
But that's not going to be anytime soon.
What's that? Building up a new city building?
Yeah.
Maybe faster than the Watkins thing.
Okay. I mean, I take the free 2 years, before it got demolished or whatever else happened.
But there was a discussion, that was the discussion that was had back in the early part of the summer. Do we keep it for storage and civic events and meetings, or do we lease it out to a potential new business? And I think you have people on both sides of that aisle. But we decided to at least look into it, and that's what we've been doing. We have no lease signed or anything like that. But the people that then speak up are interested in it, but they're doing their due diligence to figure out if that building can host what they do.
Ben,
That's
do
all.
you think that's the best use of that building, renting it out? Do you think that-
With the intent that the possible tenants would allow us to use certain spaces, and they said they would,
Yeah.
then yes, that's an additional $12,000 a year of daily activity within a building that promotes the neighborhood. People who are coming to look to do a healthy activity versus it being open at best once a week
Yeah,
for an hour or two.
I was a skeptic at first, but when we talked about it internally, we thought the best thing for it is probably to continue to use it for meetings and storage. But the business is really cool when it becomes something really cool.
And they're great in their current communities, they just kind of outgrown their space. I mean, these are people who are going out in the community, teaching a healthy lifestyle to children
I have
and
no
adults.
problem with whoever the
So
tenant is. It's more that there's a tenant. I'm just,
It's not like a tax firm place where you're just, that would be something that would be a gift that doesn't
I don't
really.
even know who the tenant is, but anyway.
Okay.
And so
I don't know if I
it's
can
not-
speak, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I mean,
speak because-
it's just, like, we gave something away again, Okay, and then, what else? Just talking again about the property being demolished. I know that what's gonna happen, you have to pick your battles, as Bob says. But it's, I think, a terrible waste, and it's a terrible mistake. I know all of you will be gone, we'll all be gone, and I really believe people will look back at pictures and go, jeez, I really do. But I wish I had a copy of it, but Beth posted a article today that pretty much summed up, it was a quick article, but it said just 6 reasons to keep old buildings. And it said everything I was trying to say about, how financially, socially, culturally, spiritually, you keep those things. And the thing about, this has come up over and over again, the thing about, it's not historical. I don't know what that exactly means. There must be some criteria in some organization of what historical is, whether it was somebody of note who was born there, or it was in some magazine. I don't know what exactly makes something historical. I know the building's really old. As far as being an eyesore, that's totally aesthetically objective. I think it's gorgeous. I'm not kidding around. I mean, when I pull up, it faces the street. It is a postcard. I know, like, people don't want to see it. They don't like it. It's easy. You can cheat. You don't even have to do the painting. Take a picture and put it through one of those programs that does, like, painting automatically. It writes itself. It completely looks like the front of a brochure. It's what communities all over America are trying to scramble for, to grab back whatever authenticity they have left after having it steamrollered over for the last 40, 50 years. And I think it just adds a lot of character and depth and a sense of place and a sense of history to a community. And there is no way that, like, a new city building with new materials that they put there conveys that kind of feeling. No way. And I was telling Mayor Borowski the other day that my husband and I pulled off the road, we'd go pick something up, pulled off the road in, what is it called? I don't know, something Kentucky, I don't know where we were. But we like to pull off and just see if we see anything cool. And we're going, like, down the back road, and sometimes it's scary and sometimes it's whatever, sometimes we find cool stuff. But what do we find? It opens up and it's like, hi, it's a Subway, a Kohl's, a Lowe's, a Kroger, a Meijer, and every exact same thing. And since we've been kind of traveling more in the last couple of years, it's starting to gross me out. I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter the climate, it doesn't matter the age, the history, north or south, boom, Lowe's, Meijer. It's like, there is no, so many communities have no sense of place. And then you gotta scramble to find the cool place because you're on vacation. Where can we have lunch? You know, in this experiential place. Meanwhile, you know, we got it sitting right there and we're gonna mow it down. You know, I think it's a terrible mistake. I've said before, so. Anyway, and that's it. Yes.
A couple of things, and I'm kind of surprised that no one has mentioned working with the schools for meeting places. And
I would never think of it.
Because I think Jay's wide open to being a community partner and partnering with the city, and would open the schools up for organizations, especially affiliated with the city. Look where we're at today. I mean, we have our council meetings here in their boardroom.
It's fine.
Yeah, and I think both Lincoln and the high school have potentially meeting spaces that could be utilized by groups like the Civic Club and by Main Street if necessary, and I don't think Jay would be opposed to that. I think he would welcome those kinds of usage, because they always have people working on the evening shift, and, you know, as long as they have a schedule, you know, things can be arranged. So I would encourage people to check that out. And then, I love historic things. I mean, I lived in a historic home for years, and we renovated it, and, you know, we're buying property now, and I just stripped and refinished a beautiful mantle that's probably over 100 years old, you know, and still has the tile, the Art Nouveau cover and all that. But I guess some of the things we have to look at is at what price.
Right.
That building is not structurally sound. There is foundation.
Is there a structural report in existence?
There
Because
was something done years ago. The foundation has issues. The roof has issues, you know. I guess, you know, by the time you get done fixing everything and renovating it and making it into something that's worthwhile, how much money is somebody willing to spend? I mean, maybe we're looking at $150,000 to make that place viable.
Maybe we're not.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that we don't have any paperwork or concrete estimates. We don't know if people say it stinks or that it's structurally unsound. I can say that for sure about my old house in Fort Thomas. It stunk and it was structurally unsound, but I had guys come in and dig it all up and blah, blah, blah. And it was 15 grand and I made a big fat profit on it. It's like things get fixed. You know, it's like, yes, buildings decay and they stink, and, you know, especially when you don't touch them for 15 years, but you fix, you know,
Can we look back? Can we look
We
back?
don't have a structural report and we don't have
See
an
if there's
estimate.
anything ever that was.
We don't, when we talk about money and mold, there's nothing on paper. And that makes it difficult to go, yes, so, when you actually care. You know, and I don't care. It's ugly, I don't care. You know, it looks like a dump anyway. I do care. So now the numbers do matter. Why are we doing this? It is not something of no value.
I do know at one time I thought there was something done to show that they had foundation issues.
It did.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But it's been a while back.
Right.
Right, maybe when it was purchased through that grant. But it did, I don't know if it has mold issues, but if it does have mold issues.
I went in 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I was,
I don't know.
well, I went upstairs, I went through the whole thing. I was more adamant than ever. This is cute. As a gorgeous staircase, it's adorable. And nothing about it frightened. I didn't walk around and go, whoa, I see what they're talking about. In fact, the opposite.
Did you go in the basement?
No. I don't even know how to get in the basement. And plus there's stuff all over the kitchen, I couldn't get through it. But I can stand there and see it. Stuff needs storage. But there's nothing on paper. There have been no structural reports. There have been no bids taken for repair or even identifying what the specific issues are, and even a general ballpark figure of what it would be to bring it back. All that. It's because of all these years of neglect. And I feel like, as I've been here almost 4 years, I'm seeing a pattern of demolition by neglect, either by city-owned properties or by private owners, that it's so bad now that you let it, that you gotta tear it down. You gotta tear it down. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. Depends on how much money you want to spend on bringing it back up. But that's what's been going on here. And so now we have a little town that's starting to sort of turn around. We're actually starting to get some interest in some cool little buildings. We're trying to attract people with our history, our uniqueness, Dayton as opposed to other things, and then, as opposed to other communities, other Meyer, Lowe's communities. And then we're gonna tear this thing down. No numbers, not even no
That's one building,
consideration.
that's one building. This city.
You don't have that many, and that's in the center of
This city
town.
council has put, I don't know how much money out in CCAP money.
Yeah, right. It's like lifting on one hand and knocking down on the other.
There's always going to be demolition. Even over the Rhine, they demolish old buildings. They don't save every single building over the Rhine.
But
You
they
have to
do the
sometimes
numbers.
tear down buildings.
They do the numbers. They do their due diligence.
There can be a blend of new and old.
Absolutely, that's
We're
what you're
not-
shooting for.
701 is not.
And you're
historic
shooting for
significance of-
attracting people here with money that see promise here and see a community that is valuing what they're gonna do because they're risking money. I've looked at a lot of storefronts here. I'd be putting in my sweat equity, I'd be putting in my time, I'd be putting in my caring, and I'd be putting in my money,
And
right?
I think we should be going after those, the ones that are worth
I'm
saving and
it.
putting the money towards
I'm
them.
it.
Not
I'm
the
it.
ones that probably aren't worth saving.
Okay, I'm one of the people who are looking, okay? I just bought another clip. I'm looking. It does not encourage me. It doesn't. I can't feel, I'll make the jump for love, I'll make the jump for, I want it, I love it. It doesn't even, the numbers don't even be that great, I want it. I can't make the jump because I'm not gonna risk my family money, my time, my passion, my work when you're tearing down historical buildings without giving it like the proper due diligence of structural reports and really knowing what we're talking about. You're on one hand attracting over here, on the other hand slamming down over there. It doesn't give me a sense of confidence that I want to invest in this town.
Worthwhile saving. Everybody's been through that building, says the same thing, it's not worthwhile saving. We gotta.
Are they experts? Structural engineer.
You don't need a structure, and look at the building. I mean,
It
the
looks
building
great to
lanes,
me.
for Christ's sake. I mean, it's
Looks
not,
great to me.
you don't need to be a structural
It
engineer.
looks, well, I'm not, and it looks great to me.
Well, that's fine.
So, all right.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, anyone else like to address council? Moving on. We have second reading of ordinance 2017, number 15, garbage ordinance. Comments?
City of Dayton, Kentucky, ordinance number 2017, number 15. An ordinance repealing and replacing chapter 50 of the Code of Ordinance related to garbage. This ordinance repeals and replaces chapter 50 of the Code of Ordinances related to garbage. This ordinance defines types of garbage and identifies the owner shall be responsible for garbage on their real property. This ordinance further details rules regarding the types of containers to be used, preparation for disposal of garbage in approved containers, unauthorized types of garbage, storage of said garbage until designated pickup times, and practice for collection. This ordinance also rules regarding unscheduled garbage set-outs, a yearly fee for waste collection services, and dumpster use. And that's the second reading.
Need a motion?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2017-15.
Motion by Bill,
Now second.
second by Jeff. Awesome. Comment? Roll call.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Holder?
Aye.
Member Burns?
Aye.
Member Neary?
Aye.
Member Baker?
Aye.
Member Fox?
So,
If I could make a comment, sir, if we could have administration, not only in the Dayton Community News to get this in the September edition, it may be too late for August, and then also on the city pages, so that everybody's aware of it, and then Rich could start enforcing it. People couldn't say that they didn't know.
Next on the agenda is order 2017, number 9R, CCAP amendment.
City of Dayton, Kentucky Municipal Order Number 9R, a municipal order adopting the amended grant award policies and procedures for the Commercial Community Advantage Program. Be it ordered by the City of Dayton, Kentucky as follows. Section 1, that the city has authorized a commercial community advantage program to award grants to businesses in the community based on the amended policies and procedures as set forth and attached hereto. Section 2, that the city authorizes the mayor to execute any contract or agreement necessary to the execution of this program and to take necessary action against any grant recipients in the event that the terms in these policies or any additional conditions are breached. And it's
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt Order 217, number 9R.
Motion by Jeff Ross,
I'll second.
second by Ben. Comments?
I got a few. We've talked about this. In fact, I asked you to delay putting this on here so we can talk about it further. But the eligibility for the facade. I love this, that we're including these new properties on the corners that we just added with the R1JJ. I think a lot of those were commercial properties to begin with, and I think this will spur even more businesses and improvements in those properties, which is the goal of the CCAP. However, the facade and structural improvement grant, I think, is a little bit vague with the eligibility. It says it's available to anyone who has purchased a commercial building in the CBD. Does that include people that bought them in 1972? Since we struck since April 1st, 2015, does that now include existing owners? I mean, the word purchased in there kind of throws me off a little bit, quite a bit.
So, from a legal perspective, reading that, yeah, it would. It includes anybody then.
It includes anyone who owns the building.
As long as they purchased it.
Or inherited it, there's that possibility. Because I don't want to dissuade the current property owners or exclude them.
Yeah, no, that would include anybody.
It would include them, even these new properties that we just added.
Yeah.
Okay, good. On the funding, and I didn't catch this, but I just caught it this afternoon when this was sent to me. I got the chance to read it again at work. That was on my boss. For building owners that will be locating their commercial business in the building, the city will reimburse the building owner for 75% of the approved project costs, up to $30,000. I thought we were under a 50% match rather than a 75%. Is that a typo, or is that the intention of this, or?
That was the last draft, the draft you guys approved in, I think it was February.
Didn't we lower to 55?
Or if you own the building, you can go up to 75%. If you were going to rent out the building and you weren't going to have your business in the building, then it could go down to 50%. That way, for people who were, since we took away the rebate on purchasing a building and blended them together, if you bought a building and you were to locate your business there, we had a program where you would get 10% of the building cost as a rebate.
So that is correct then, the 75% for owners locating their commercial business in the building.
Yep.
Okay. I hadn't noticed that before.
That was there in the last CCAP. That's not new. That was in the last CCAP.
Understood. It just jumped out me.
If you understand the kind of logic, because we took away 10% just because you bought a building. So the incentive there is for someone who wants to buy a building, fix it up, and put their business in there. We value that at a higher rate, same max, but we value that at a higher rate than someone who's buying a building for an investment. Does that make?
Thank you for clarifying that for the record.
No problem.
The only other thing I had on this was a question, and this would be under funding and actually under program compliance. If the business leaves within the terms outlined in the grant contract, which is usually 3 years, the owner will owe to the city a percentage of the grant funds allocated for improvements, as stated in said contract. There's no percentages set in here anywhere. And I think we made this, I'm learning from my mistakes that if you don't put a non-compliance clause in there, we end up losing. What is that percentage? And should we, it also says it'd be liable to repay all funds under the grant if they're deemed non-compliant. It's kind of vague in that area, and I think it may leave us.
Well, you know what, you got to put there. I think that's something we need to put into the contract.
I think it is in the contract.
It's in the contract, and I don't have them here, I'm sorry.
Is every contract the same?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not based on the program, but yes, it's standard phrasing. All Bob does is change the names, so
Yeah.
in all locations and stuff.
It just seems like we have the other percentages in here. I feel more comfortable knowing what that percentage is. If it's a boilerplate percentage, or is it a case-by-case percentage?
It's boilerplate.
I think it's just boilerplate. The percentage is whatever it is for that agreement, but the language of the agreement says that essentially whatever percentage you're giving up here is the same percentage.
I mean, the process, Joe, is there's a boilerplate contract. I go in, put the names, addresses, amounts. I run it. I don't change anything. I don't change anything else. I always run it by Tom before.
I trust you on that. What I'm asking is, what are those percentages of the penalty? If somebody came.
Off the top of my head, I can't answer that tonight.
What was the question, Tom?
What's the question?
It says that the owner will owe to the city a percentage of the grant funds allocated for improvements. What are those percentages and how are they tiered?
If it's structural improvement, it's typically based on pro rata, so however much money they've had in the project versus how much time is left.
136 per month.
36 month total, yeah.
I mean, it's
Rental
specifically
abatements.
outlined in the contract.
Rental abatements, based on.
I'd be happy to show it to you afterwards. It's not like.
As long as we're covered on
Oh, yeah,
that, that was my
yeah.
concern.
I'm sorry. I
I don't want to bring it.
Understood. I prefer that it was in here, but that's fine. That's all I have, sir.
Anyone else have any comments on this? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Bolter?
Aye.
Member Burns?
Aye.
Member Neary?
Aye.
Member Baker?
Aye.
Member Haas?
Aye.
Member Lennon?
So ordered. That's all I got. Administrators report.
The one handicap parking request, the first one on the agenda is not eligible. They're gonna have to come back and get, they haven't gotten the updated tags that are necessary. So the only one I've got to request is for 825 Thornton Street. The applicant meets all the requirements. Ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion that we approve the request for handicap spacing for 825 Thornton.
Second by Ben.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Walters. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
I abstain because I haven't had the chance to investigate it.
Okay, you abstain. Wonderful. Thank you.
The only other thing I have, I passed out are just a brief report. As you all been getting emails from me, basically when I get the information in from some of the contractors that do playground equipment for Pond Street Park. Essentially one in mid-July from a particular contractor for $72,000. We went back and talked to somebody else and we got to much better pricing. So I sent you kind of those rough pictures of what they would look like. We're still finalizing them, but I also present you with an estimated budget at this time, just so you all are aware of what these costs will be. We're still going to need to figure out where all this money's going to come from. I know the developers have agreed to pledge something. Still need to talk with Park Board and internally what we've got in the budget to bring forward anything at this time. But I want to go and see kind of what we're looking at for cost and total for the project at this time. That's all I have.
What are we looking at timeframe wise?
We should be able to get in and start doing some things with the park, as early as really next week. The places, the lots ready to go. It's all based on financing at this point, where the financing is going to come from. Solidifying the playground equipment is not difficult. I think we've got a rough idea of what we want. It's just, we're going to go back and figure out, we know what it's looking like it's going to cost, and we're going to figure out how to pay for it.
Will that go out to bid?
We will have to bid it out. I talked with Tom today. He's not going to sit down tomorrow. Since it's a little bit complicated to bid, we're going to play with the wording a little bit, figure out how it gets through and how we can spell it out. So I'd like to get that out of the paper, send it out Friday. So.
Michael, I have a question on this bid, or this budget. You got fencing on here. Is that going to be all the three sides, or how are you going to have that? Because I don't know if you need it down the street side and the front of it. I think you need it by the house next to it in the alley, but if we're just talking just...
It would be for three sides, I believe, and I'd have to look at how they got the measurements, but that was just the quote we got for three sides. It wouldn't include the front. There'll be a gate, there'll be an open gate.
Yeah, but why are you talking about putting the fence down the, what is that, Vine Street side?
Safety issue, so they don't run out in Vine Street.
The other question,
Same thing with the alley.
the other question I have is, you've got sidewalks and curbs around, do we need brand new sidewalks around that whole thing?
Yeah, they're pretty
Haven't
bad.
been down.
Sidewalks and curbs.
Okay.
So the next step then is you're going to meet with the park board and with the park board met last night.
Possibly meet with the park board. We're to sit down and figure out.
And then come back to us in September with.
Get a bid out.
Yeah, we gotta figure out,
You gotta get
these are estimates, basically these equipment costs on estimates, these are legit companies that give us estimates, but.
You gotta go to three different,
Okay.
I'll break it up.
Yeah, he said he was gonna sit down with Tom tomorrow and put a bid package together.
Okay, so we're still, my question was about the timeline.
The financing is the next step. I can't predict the timeline until we figure out how we pay for it.
So this is not in our budget this year, right?
No, we don't have anything in the general fund.
So this is a year out.
No, we could still have we have the money for it, it's not in the budget.
It's not line item.
Come out of somewhere else, we can come in and take it out and then the budget. The money's there, it's just not specifically allocated on the budget. No big deal if we want to come out and the city says, look, we'll fund it all. We've got it there, it's just making it official.
I know Councilman Volter asked about the developers footing some of this bill. Do we have any idea how much of that bill they would be footing, or can we make an idea? Maybe 100%?
I have no idea. I would be 100%. They've already got $15,000 in purchasing 2 lots. I haven't spoken to them since they were at the meeting, so I haven't had any discussion.
My only comment to that, Michael and Ben and Jeff, is that you keep your foot to the fire and get as much money as you can from the developers.
We gotta be aggressive.
I mean, and I'm not trying to be facetious about that, I'm just telling you that if they'll say they'll only give one amount, they'll say, well, no, we would like you to give another amount.
Be nice about it. They'd be like, we really appreciate that. However, be nice about it.
But that ties back to my timeline issue, since we're already at least 2 to 3 months out from it being done. I mean, that would be the best case scenario, is 3 months. We're into November, wintertime. You know, it's not like we're going into spring. So if it takes a little bit more time to save a little bit of money and do it right,
Well,
do it right
yeah,
over the winter.
You can get typically better deals in the winter time, so we may be able to sign, worst case scenario, sign a contract in the fall and have it installed in the spring, but, I mean, we still got a lot of time here. There are some things we gotta do. Like I said, until we figure out the financing, there's a lot of things in play, city, developer, park board, figuring out where the funding comes from, or a combination of the three. So until we get that solidified, I can't order any
Would it be,
equipment. So.
sorry, would it be smart to plan on doing the sidewalks before the cold weather sets in? Since that really has to be done down there, the sidewalks and curbs.
Probably the only concern I would have, and I don't think this would happen, would just be what kind of equipment do they need to take on the lot to install it, so I hate to put in sidewalks in the ground. I don't think they're gonna have to use any sort of heavy machinery.
You could make, you know, a curb cut.
There's stuff that we can do this fall, we don't get to play around equipment in, but I'm still hopeful that we can get some progress here.
So the city's maintaining the lot now, cutting and everything else?
There's just dirt pretty much right now.
I guess I'm kind of surprised at how long this has taken from the first meeting that we had to acquire that property. I didn't think we'd miss a whole summer at the park.
Yeah, we had to wait on the property to close, we had to get it surveyed, we had to tear down garages, and it took a month to get first pulled back, it came in high.
I'm not saying we did your due diligence correctly, or not continue to do it correctly, I'm just saying, I think when we first made that vote, I think every council member up here thought it should be done in time to be playing basketball by June.
Well, no, the original motion said it in the motion to be done by the end of August, and that's, you know, obviously not gonna happen, but if we can figure out the financing here in a couple weeks and get parts ordered, get the bid out, there's no reason that we can't, it's still possible to get it in the spring zone. I'm not promising that, but it's still very possible.
Here's my theory. I know everybody wants it done. I want to rush and get everything done too. But let's take our time and get it done and do it right. Let's not put something down there that people are not going to, you know, they're not going to respect, or they're not, it's just not going to be an eyesore in 5 years. Let's make sure it's done right.
What kind of fencing are they at 35? Is that, it's not chain link, is it?
No, it's the ornamental aluminum black.
Black, wrought iron, kind of historical to the neighborhood feel?
I would try to get a commitment from these guys as soon as we can, though. I mean, if we're looking at how we're gonna pay for this, that would help us kind of outline that, you know, and remind them, they publicly said that they would be happy, both groups, to donate, so.
And remind them that we can't tell them the exact price, but we can strongly suggest it's going to be a few extra dollars that it's going to cost the city, that they need to help us out.
No, it's all right.
Oh, yeah. Anybody else got anything for Michael? Okay, move on. City attorney's report.
Mayor, I just ask council for a quick motion to instigate a foreclosure proceeding due to 4 years back taxes owed for 1103 3rd Avenue. Right now, their tax bill exceeds $2,100 already. It's 4 years, about soon to be 5.
The city tax, not county tax, I guess?
City, that's just city.
2,100.
Yeah, so I just asked for a motion for that.
4 years seems fair enough to at least make it, have they made any effort? Like, you know, a dollar, a call, said I'm out of work, bill?
Does not make the executive session.
No, as long as we're not, you know, if I'm just asking for a motion, we have to make a motion.
And this is in the industrial zone.
Yeah.
Is that illegal, is 4 years legal long enough?
Oh.
Three is legal, I thought.
Well, no, one.
Really?
One's legal.
We always
If
want
you-
3.
The moment that you're a day late on paying your taxes, we can foreclose.
Wow.
Yeah, but traditionally, the city has always waited for 3.
Okay. Have they been sent a notice that this is a possibility of an action?
Yes, since I've been here, they've gotten at least 3 of those notices and 2 attorney tax liens on their property for failure to pay taxes.
They've been given every avenue to know that this could happen.
Yep.
They're not in the audience tonight, I imagine.
No.
Okay.
I'll make the motion, we'll close on the property at 1103 3rd Avenue.
Second.
Motion by Jeff Walters, second by Bill Burns. Roll call.
Member Burns.
Aye.
Member Neary.
Aye.
Member Baker.
Aye.
Member Haas.
Aye.
Member Lynn.
Aye.
Member Volker.
Aye.
So ordered.
Thank you, council. I have nothing else to report.
Department heads, Donna.
The only thing I had is I wanted to let everybody know that Tiffany Barnes, our assistant clerk treasurer, she is now a certified Kentucky municipal clerk treasurer. She attended a 3-year course in Lexington and she just graduated in July. So now she'll start working towards her certified municipal clerk. And that will probably be at least another 3-year course. She'll attend a yearly classes in Lexington. So she did a great job, and I want to congratulate her. And I'd also like to ask if we could set the date for the senior citizens picnic. This year, instead of setting the date in September, and kind of the reasoning is you have the Songs Festival in September, you got the county picnic in September. This year, we're going to have the Kite Festival, and it's really hard to get donations with everything going on at once. So I talked to Jim Lucas at the VFW, and we can set it in October. And every Thursday, he would like me to take it from a Wednesday to a Thursday this year. And every Thursday is open, and I'd like to ask for October 19th.
We need a motion.
Yep.
I'll make that motion. If that's what you suggest, Don, is the best date, you talk with the VFW?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Neary,
A second.
second by Hoff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Thank you.
Anything else, Tom?
Yeah, that's all I need.
You can send the congratulations on, I guess on behalf of council, I believe everybody agreed with that, to Tiffany on her hard work. That's better benefiting our city to have that type of resource at our hands, and congratulations to her.
And I'm gonna put a little picture with her getting her certificate and something.
Yeah.
I'll let her know though.
Okay. Clancy. So I want to say thank you for the order for the CCAP changes. I think we've got a lot going on. I don't know if you've been following the Facebook. I mean, we've got people already fixing up their buildings. 526 is being painted. We've got a lot of buildings painted. So I think we've got a lot of excitement, and people are already investing in their buildings. Small amounts right now, but I think we're going to start doing some projects that are larger amounts. I will have one for 526 6th Street, which will be going in front of the Dayton Board of Architectural Review a week from today. So we will move forward on that. So I think that's really good to talk about. I think other things I'd like to talk about. October 14th is going to be a busy day. One thing we've done, maybe remember a few months back, we got a grant from the Soil Conservation District for doing a tree planting. So we're starting Tree Develop Dayton. That will be in the morning of October 14th. And then we also got a nano grant. One of the nano grants we got is we're looking at doing a block party on Vine Street between the lodge, on Vine Street next to the lodge. We had our first planning meeting on that. We'll have a band talking about having some food trucks, just kind of doing a nice block party, which I think will fit very well. If I can get volunteers to help me plant trees in the morning, we'll have a little party in the evening. And so that's going on there. And I think we're probably by the September meeting, I'll have some really good announcements about stuff going on there. There's a lot of things in the book. Councilman Burns asked me about grants, so I will talk about it. I know Joe and others up on are excited about Cypress Park. Probably not going to hear back from the state on the recreational trails grant until probably October, November. That's just how long they take. And I know people are like, but he talked about this in March. Well, why does it take so long? Well, that's the same. You know, I am still pressuring on the streetscape. Michael knows about this. We are now waiting to get on the state transportation improvement plan. Jeff, you didn't even know about transportation improvement plans a couple of months ago. But I want you to know I am diligently keeping the pressure up on that, and I will and keep up on those things. But I think we had a great meeting last Tuesday for the Main Street Advisory Board. Kelly is our new Main Street Advisory Board member. Courtney moved out of the city, so we've got a full tilt and everything's moving forward. So thank you. Any questions?
Food truck?
Food truck, yes. August 3rd is our third Food Truck Thursday. Dayton's own, thank you, Joe. Dayton's own Street Chef Brigade will be there. And unfortunately, Kona Ice cannot make it.
Hansman Softy Machine.
Hansman Softy Machine right there. Scheduling they have somebody who's going to pay them to be there. So where they show up, and I don't pay them to be there. So I understand. But we're going to have, actually, I'm very excited about Street Chef Brigade. It's got an amazing looking menu, and I've never had it. So thank you.
Bob, how long?
Yeah.
Those have been great, and they're starting to get a lot of traction. How far deep into the winter do you expect to do these?
I was originally planning to end it in September. Could I do another one? I'm kind of thinking no. Since on October 14th, I'd like to have 2 food trucks on Vine Street on Saturday night. So I'd probably go into October and probably stop it there. I'm not saying November couldn't work, but it's getting touchy there. You know, we finally have our cold winter. We don't know. So I'm not, we're going to end it in September. That was the original plan. And then I'm kind of doing it again at the Vine Street Block Party on the 14th or whatever. I've had, when I first started this, I was asking the food trucks to come. They were apprehensive. Now they're emailing and calling me and asking me if they can come. So we're building some, we're getting a better reputation with that. And I think it's building, you know, it's making people look, and people, it's doing exactly what I hoped it would do, and people are enjoying it.
Thank you, Bob. Chief Hadfield.
You don't have my report. The only thing I added on there is count to arrest. What the counts mean, that means to arrest somebody, we might have multiple counts. So that means total charges that we've accrued during the month. You see our drug arrests are up. We've been really hitting it pretty good. Trying to arrest people as much as we can, reference the drug activity. Just recently, Friday, we did conduct a search warrant on a house and arrested a man subject for 2 counts of trafficking and controlled substance and importing heroin from Ohio into our city. So he's one of many that we have our eyes on. So we'd like to give the council a little heads up, just that we are doing something. We are boots on the ground, and we're trying to do what we can. So it's really
Knock those doors down, Chief. Good work.
Trying our best.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Patrick.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Everybody should have got my report this morning, man. I'm glad to be able to get it out. I just wanted to highlight a couple things in there. I've been working with St. Elizabeth Hospital on a project called Stop the Bleed. It's a national program designed by Homeland Security. And the goal is to get into the schools and help the educators and the workers in the schools in case of a disaster or an emergency, to be able to apply pressure and know what to do until we get there. So Boone County started, Kenton County's doing more kind of the last catch on. So we're going to be working with the hospitals with that. We're kind of excited. Also this month, we're going to be losing 2 firefighter medics to Covington and Wilder. They resigned due to a higher salary. So I just wanted to share that with you. But we did hire 2. So we have 2 starting for a 4-day orientation with the fire department on August 15th. They'll be on shift. I'm sure you've seen the ladder truck out and about. Guys are training on it. Rosenbauer was in town today going over with the shifts, all the pumps and all the new buttons that we're not used to playing with. So a lot of electronic stuff. So they've been working with the truck. We're hoping by about 2 weeks to have that truck in service. So that's our goal. The next fire board meeting will be August 16th at the fire station. I'll be at 6:00. Everybody's welcome. And we'll get the 2 new hires there. Is there any questions on my report at all?
I'm 2 guys leaving, and you said it's based on salary. Where do you think you stand as far as, or especially in Cannon County, as far as ranking?
We're probably the lowest in the paid departments in the county. Fort Thomas is up there, Newport's up there, Covington's up there. I didn't believe Wilder pays what they do. Central Campbell makes more than us.
And I
probably Alexandria, and there's another department all the way down by Covington County. Maybe less than that.
Well, the fire districts, and I know paramedics are getting hard to find.
They are. And it's been moving there in numerous meetings. I was just with the Gulf Mayor's chief at lunch today, and they're having the same problems in Ohio. It's just, these guys are, these bigger cities are getting these paramedics. If they're schooling here, they're waiting 70,000 from them, starting right out of the gate. We start off at 45. And most of these guys went to school for 2 years, paramedics schooling their families, and that's what they see. That's what they're shooting for, so. It's getting tough.
You just got to hope that you don't lose what you don't have.
Yeah, that's.
Because you got a lot of young guys.
We deal with a lot of young guys, and that's, we always talk about trying to be creative ways to keep people, and that's with, help with council, with the truck and models of the fire station, make things more pleasant for them while they're there for 24 hours, and just trying to be creative to keep our people, keep our staff. But when these cities hire, Pelican hires 10, 15 at a time, and they do laterals now. Back when I started getting rid of test and agility, physical, all kinds of stuff. Now they just lateral them out in, they have their fire hours. So they don't take a test, they basically interview and you're hired.
Did the two new employees come from other departments?
Sorry?
The two new employees?
Yes, they did. One came from Erlanger, and one's coming from Mountain County Fire District 1.
So they're not fresh out of?
No.
Okay. Good.
Experience. We look for. And I wasn't at the last council meeting, I apologize, but I think Councilman Muir, you would ask, requested, you did get that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would it be, this is great, I told you before, thank you very much, and it's eye-opening. Would it be possible for you to put this digitally on the fire department's Facebook page, or? I don't have a digital copy of it, and I don't know what the copyright is on it, so.
I probably could, I'm not that savvy.
I think Rich would figure it out, yeah. If you could, because I think, like I said, we all had the wrong impression that no one has insurance that's still in heroin, and it finds out that 87% have insurance. But that's the data that I think a lot of people would get a different view of what's going on if they knew this data.
And the other thing I want to say is too, is the police chief left the building, but we're averaging from 17 to 25, 30 overdoses a month. We only had 8 next month, so it's a strong work, getting in, work to get these people out of town, and you can see it really start making a difference. It's the police department.
I did
They're doing a great job.
report this month, and it was Tampa, but our average.
Yeah, it saves us on our game. What else we have to buy?
Chief, with that in mind, I do have one quick ask of you. I met with a gentleman who is having a heroin panel. He had asked, so there'll be, I think Dennis Keene will be there. You'll have a couple health professionals. And he'd asked if you personally would be able to attend on August 29th. And that would be at the Campbell County Fiscal Court, which is on Monmouth. They're at the end of Monmouth. It's, I want to say between 6 and 8. So not too terribly much time, but it's completely just kind of to show your thoughts and how you guys treat with it. And your enforcement of it. So if you could make that, that would be appreciated. I'll put you in touch with the gentleman so that way you
can contact, email me or something.
No calendars and stuff.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Rich?
I just want to point out that in the future, I'm going to give you 2 reports. One will be the overall year-to-date, like I have been, and the next will be more printer-friendly, less paper used on each report, and it'll just be everything that has come up since the past council meeting. So the report that you guys got today with everything that has come up and is new since our last council meeting, which was only 2 weeks ago, and you'll notice that there are more than 100. So we're picking up the pace quite a bit at the mayor's request. Any questions?
I just want to say thanks for contacting that property owner. I forwarded you to the, I believe it was yesterday.
So I'm not on a ladder today.
Yeah, I did too.
Appreciate your hard work, Rich.
What is the current status of 1030 Urban Terrace? Right at the top of Urban where it comes
We're
in?
going to do foreclose on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on that. I mean, I've been working hard on it to get that in foreclosure because nobody's setting the plate, it's just literally falling down.
Right.
That one, there's another one.
Good. I didn't see it on the report or anything, that's why I thought I'd
It's not on the new report because it didn't come up in the past 2 weeks. It's an older case, so it would have come up on the year-to-date one, and it's received its second round of citations, which is now $500 per citation. Okay. And there are about 4 or 5, I believe.
I'll ask separately. So, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't on your radar screen because it's terrible for that neighborhood.
I think it's getting ready to go.
With that in mind, sir, what about 326 Fourth Avenue? I've had multiple people in that neighborhood complain to me that nothing's been done as far, I know it's kind of changed hands.
It has also received a second round. All I can do is cite it, you know.
I understand.
So it has received its second round of citations. I think there are 4 or so abandoned house, grass and weed, and typically comes up when it needs grass cut again, and then so we just go through the whole.
Are we cutting that grass, or is the property owner cutting it?
Public Works is cutting it, and we're billing them everything.
I mean, whenever I walk around the streets, they're about pitchforking about that building. They're like, it's falling down, it's tarped, it's.
I'm on a different block. I'm sorry, I'm further up.
It's on the old report. It's on.
It is. Particular properties,
you gotta have
326 Fourth and 426 Third, they all, particular ones. I'm thinking that this is the TARP, what you said, TARP, yeah. I've been back there, and like I said, they also have received a second round of citations. So that at this point, with our new fine schedule, as soon as they get the second round, so the second violation, like, so for their second grass cut, just the citation is $500.
But we're cutting our grass as well?
If it's not cut, we cut it.
We cut it, and they get billed for that, they get taxed.
The citation, and then Public Works bills them for the truck, the man hours, the grant.
I know it's an expensive lawn job.
Yes.
For a reason.
Anyone else got anything for Rich? Thanks, Rich. Any correspondence?
326.
No, sir.
Any petitions? Council got any petitions? Sorry.
Oh, what was that? Petitions? No.
Council got any unfinished business?
Mayor, I guess one thing would be is the committee put together last meeting to look at the streetlights for River Point.
Okay.
Jeff and myself, we did meet. That night, I don't know, it's just, mine's changed, but we did agree to pick up the streetlights, the city pick up the streetlights for the fact that it is a city-owned street, and it would just be the streetlights, there's 13 of them, that we would pick up and pay that streetlight bill, take it away from the HOA. That's what we met on and talked about that, unless Jeff wants to.
Well, I think we're basing that on, I had asked about Manhattan Harbor if they paid for their streetlights, and not knowing going into that meeting, then after talking to Franklinwood afterwards, that we do not pay for their streetlights now. So they're paying that on their own. I understand both sides of this, I really do. I mean, being it's a public street, and we want to have it lit, but also at the same time, you know, there's also that's decorative lighting that's going in down there. And I think if we start paying, if we grant this request to start paying River Point's electric bills for their streetlights, then it opens up precedent that once Manhattan Harbor gets all their lighting in, then they're going to come to us and say, we need to pick up our electric bill now, you know, because we're lighting our, it's a public street and we're lighting. And I guess another thing I hadn't thought about that night is who owns those streetlights? Who's going to be charged with maintaining them? You know, if the city owns them, and it needs repair, if someone knocks them down, you know, who knows what could happen to them? But who's going to be responsible for the maintenance for those lights?
I think if the city put them up, regular old nasty creosote pole with the mercury vapor in them, they're ours. If in a developer's case, where they come in and they want nice decorative lighting like we have in both areas, they can do that, but I don't think the city should be beholden to anything more than that, because I'd like to have them in my neighborhood too. But the issue that and we discussed this yesterday or the day before, saying that we will pay for the lights, I'd be real careful about that. We're considering paying for the electricity bill, correct? Not the lights.
We talked about the synergy bill.
Right.
We weren't actually discussing the
But
purchase.
we really didn't discuss either way. of what it would be, whether it be just a synergy bill or maintaining the light in case of.
I'd be real careful, because some of those lights were around $12,000, $14,000. And my other question, and we're not clear on this, are they metered separately from all the other common area lights? I mean,
Up at River Point, we were told that they got street lights, they got landscape lights, they come up the hill, right, that light up all that, and then there's just some other lighting in front of some of the condos.
I can answer those questions for you, I'll give you the information. Okay. All the lights that come up the hill that you see, like on the trees, all the lights on the shrubs, the lights in the common areas, those are landscape lights, those are metered separately. The bill for the street lights is metered separately. And the bill for the structural lights that are on the soffits are metered separately.
They are.
So we have three different lighting bills.
And I would ask the same question about the Manhattan Harbor lights. Now, they're LED lights, which should be a really low consumption. I know there's only probably about 8 or 9 of them down there. 11 at Manhattan Harbor. As you said, Danny.
But there's going to be more.
Understood. I hope there's going to be all the way down to the marina.
You know, and I don't have a problem with if we would just say we'll pay the synergy bill. You know, because those lights can be expensive. I guess they got decorative lighting up on Chateau Ridge too, don't they?
Yeah,
They got some decorative lighting on Chateau Ridge.
Up in Grand Park? What are you going to Grand Park before?
Chateau Ridge.
Them were all,
Cottonwood and that.
that's all, Duke put all that in. Them are Duke poles, that's all Duke.
Yeah, but I mean, we pay the bill, I'm sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a public street, yeah.
Yeah, someone's got to pay that tax.
Well, most of them that come in are all on 6th Avenue, of the bills we've done down around 8.
Yeah, we did kind of
I
look.
don't, I'm not saying they don't, I don't remember seeing that Cottonwood at this thing.
I have to look, because like Mike said, you said, street lighting bills, that's exactly.
I mean, Duke takes care of them, like, they have their Duke lights.
Right, the lights along the avenue, we don't own, we just pay for them. Right. We don't pay, we don't.
I'm just saying,
maintain them.
we really don't own any street lights.
Now, the ones that we're putting in on the avenue,
Right.
we're gonna own those, we're purchasing those, we're
Right.
buying those, all those lights.
But I mean, anywhere else in the city, we don't own any of the street lights, they're mainly all over the
Yeah,
head.
they're all maintained, owned and maintained by Duke.
But we pay to have them installed, which is a pretty good chunk of change to have them installed.
Well, no, I would assume down the line they did, we just agreed to pay the bill. I don't have, if those were put in, I don't, if we want to change them out, we've talked to Duke about changing them out to different fixtures, there's some costs involved with that, but we still don't own the line.
It's like a free telephone. They give you the lights so you pay the electric. That's why they won't give us free LED lights.
I mean, except for where there's decorative lighting, then.
Right.
So I want some clarity.
Chateau Ridge or who knows what that is.
There's some case where you run into where utility companies, oh, this is a new pole, maybe it's one here, that lights up an alley that homeowners had put in, and Duke.
Well, yeah, I've seen that.
They work with Duke on it, so sometimes it gets a little murky.
So can I get some clarity, because Councilman Alders brought up, we're talking about street lights, and we're talking decorative lights, or what lights is the request?
What we originally were talking about was the street lights.
Lights behind the street going up into.
Yeah. The
So we're
13,
not
they
talking
got
about all
13.
three of yours, or
Well,
just one? It's just one.
Talking about the street light, turns and the
13.
cul-de-sacs and all that good stuff.
What's the estimated cost of that?
The cost is, ranges between $250 and $270 a month, depending upon the length of the day.
So you're looking around $3,200.
But it's not in either developer's agreement. Who pays for that, is it?
Do what?
The developer's agreement with town properties, which I'm not familiar with, it was done before I came on
It
board.
states that the HOA will pay for the lights, and it says, all it says is common areas. And Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the only it mentions light, but it mentions just common areas.
Yeah.
And it's on the deed, as well, but the interpretation of what common area.
How's it handled for the Manhattan Harbor Developers Agreement? Or is it not even mentioned?
It's not mentioned in the development agreement, it is mentioned in the pattern books. That's when it gets specifically when it starts to talk about the HOA. There is, right now, there isn't an HOA down there. You know, formally forms an HOA, that they'll put in writing how that's to be handled. But right now, the lighting was set forth in the pattern book. The developer decided they wanted a particular set of lights down there. The developer paid for those lights, and the developer continues to pay for those lights. And in that situation, it's the same as River Point, would go to the HOA. Now, the question at hand is, at the River Point, what is common area?
And common areas might mean a little different in River Point, because at the time that the development agreement was drafted, the roads, I believe, belonged to River Point. Yeah, and it wasn't something that was planned to come to the city, that was an after the fact change. So the interpretation of what you mean by common area is different. Yeah, it's a little different because of the circumstances surrounding that time that the agreement was drafted.
So are you making any suggestion for any kind of change here, or what, from your committee?
I will abstain from any vote on this issue or motion.
I think we're to the point where we've discussed it. If anybody got any more questions, it's time.
What did your council or your committee recommend, Danny, Jeff?
Well, I think, you know, at the time, we were all on the same page automatically of saying, yes, let's pick this tab up until Manhattan Harbor came into the light. And then also the cost of maintaining the ornamental lighting, you know, like if we could do a motion just to pick up the Synergy bill, but not be responsible for the ornamental lighting.
Can now go back to the HOA?
Huh?
And if, let's say a guy backs into it, back into his garage, that goes with the
Like
HOA?
if you get a damaged light post, the HOA would have to take care of that.
I mean, you can make the motion any way you want, Denny. I think we're to the point now where it's been discussed. Let's get a motion on, then we'll discuss, go ahead comments, which we can discuss it more.
Okay.
And have a vote one way or the other.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we pick up the Synergy bill only, that the HOA would be responsible for the fixture of the street light, and then we just do the, like I said, we send
We do just the electric bill, because Synergy do.
we do the electric bill.
Motion by Denny.
You sure they're metered separate? If they are metered separate, I second the motion.
You just said it.
Proof, like, in, it's not.
It was his motion, I want to make sure. Let's see. I'll second the motion, sir.
Second by Joe Neary. Comments?
I got, wonder what Manhattan Harbor's monthly bill is looking like. And Mr. Giffen, do you have an idea on what that looks like on a per month estimate?
Well, I believe we're only talking about River Point here, right?
I'm concerned about the precedent we're setting.
Right. I mean, there was an example that didn't deal with lighting, but Grant Park, where we had a car run over a street sign, and it was a regular street sign. Stop sign. Stop sign. They had the street in front. So we didn't want what the city was going to put in. They wanted to put in something more decorative. So that came back onto our HOA to pay for those decorative street signs. So that's another concern that I would have if this does go through, then 5, 10 years, you know, whatever Grant Park decides they want to start putting lights down their streets, and then put in their decorative lights that they want to do, then come back and come to the city and say, we want you to pay our electric bill, how they put in our street lights.
Well, Denny's motion was only pay for the energy bill.
Right, but I'm saying that could happen to any one of these developments.
And you know, and you're 100% right with the new development that we got going on. But the fact still remains is we pay for street lighting on every street in the city that the city maintains. The city is maintaining these streets.
We don't have any Grant Park.
Huh?
We don't have any Grant Park.
Any what?
Street lights.
Well, I mean, I'm saying if you would want them and you each put the lights themselves in, then the city should pick up the energy bill.
But I'm in Manhattan Harbor though.
Huh?
I'm in Manhattan Harbor.
But that's the precedent we would be setting.
I know, I thought he said now we do.
And that's why I was asking Mr. Giffen on if he has an estimate of the monthly energy bill for lighting the streetlights in Manhattan Harbor, because if we make this motion and accept it today, we can expect to put that in our budget for future years, because they will come to us when they find out that they don't have to pay that bill.
I talked with David Bowden last week and asked him a question, because I was curious. He told me it was over $1,000 a month. Now, I'm skeptical with that, because there's less lights down there than in Grant.
LED too.
But, I haven't seen his bill, I just went off of what he told me.
He may be getting one bill for lighting down in that set.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And that's all LED lighting. I mean, it's.
But I asked him how much he pays for street lighting, and he told me over 1,000, that's all.
Well, in a case like that, he can't prove that what we're paying for is just the street lights. If they are metered separately in River Point, they can prove that. And as you said, it's a city dedicated street now.
Right.
Doing the same for everybody else.
If we maintain the street, if we do snow plowing and anything else on that street, then we should be responsible for the street lighting for the street lights on that street. People pay taxes, they deserve a street light to be paid for.
Tom, you mentioned to me an easement, that's still something.
Yes, speaking with the mayor about it after Denny made the motion, I would recommend, as an addition to the motion, that we make it, whatever motion, if you guys approve this motion, make it reciprocal to where that's on approval of them getting into contract with us under these terms. That we'll take care of the synergy bill, but they're gonna take care of the fixtures and the repairs. Because you don't want them to come back later on and say, well, you're already doing this, because we've already gone through this. As I think everybody's kind of heard from the history, we've done this a couple times already with them.
So do you want to just add that to this motion here?
Yeah, if you
Okay.
decided to.
Let's add that to the motion. And then Joe.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Okay, any more comments? You get that, what he said? Donna, roll call vote.
Member Neary?
Aye.
Member Baker?
Aye.
Member Haas?
Aye.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Bolter?
Abstain?
Member Burns?
Aye. So ordered. You don't have that vote.
Yeah, well, I'll draw the terms. What you guys just told me.
Any more unfinished business at this time? Any? Okay.
I noticed in the rendering of the trail that you sent us, just kind of the rough beginning and all that, that there was something about they might have sandstone block seating. Is that really a durable kind of thing? I mean, I'm thinking of sandstone, and I'm thinking wind on the river, rain, where it's located.
Look at Bellevue Beach Park, that's what they do.
Is it sealed, hermetically sealed of some glaze? But I don't know, it just seems like it could wear down.
I would imagine it is.
It's the same kind of, I believe it's the same kind of rock they have at
It's like a
Bellevue Beach
rock.
Park.
It's like.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't.
Nothing's gonna wash it out.
Yeah.
High water.
It's not set in stone, no pun intended. But we can come back and the grant's not gonna cover those type of watermelon things anyway, so, if we wanna go a different direction.
That's it.
That's it. Anyone else have any unfinished business? Any new business?
I think we've had a lot of discussion today here at council concerning the building's demolition at the corner of Berry. I think that it makes sense for us to rethink that demolition, especially since there's no current plan in place. So I'd like to see if it's possible for us to exit out of that agreement with anything for money to stop the demolition until we have a better, clear path ahead of us. I guess it's a legal question, sir. Tom?
Well, at that point, it's the mayor's decision, but, once it's been approved, and the mayor's the one that makes the calls on, that's how.
Well, we found that there's a use for storage in this, and there's other uses that we could use these buildings for between now and the time we need a new city building. So I think that it was or at least maybe even a case-by-case basis, because I know 503 is different than 701, which is different than 505.
These buildings need to be torn down, no matter what you do. And the plans are, even though we don't have a drawing of a city building right now, we have an old one that we want to look at and say, is this really what we want? Things have changed in the last 10 years. Let's get something that's up to date to 2017. Them plans are not drawn up yet, but we have old plans from 2008.
I've seen the plans, I mean, that's not about the administrator's office, to look at. I mean, that's fine, but we don't have anything in place yet, sir, to.
I understand, but the next step is to clear this lot. The next step is to take these buildings out. The council voted 2 weeks ago to put the money forth to go in contract with them to tear these down. I don't understand, I mean, the letter, I mean, if we put a letter out there and the letter, we get no response to that saying that we shouldn't take this down. We have a couple people that want to keep it up. I get that, but the majority of the people want a city building.
And sir, we could plan on top of GIS Dynamics, not Dynamics, I'm sorry, it's a company. We can plan on top of GIS drawings without those buildings being there. If we, as we've done, we can continue to plan forward that city building if that's to move forward in that location, without taking out things such as storage that's desperately needed for the city right now.
But these buildings are junk. I mean, they're terrible. They're just bad buildings. They need to go. I mean, you're not going to move forward if you leave them buildings in there. Sooner or later, you're going to have them down. We done got a contract. It's reasonable, I feel, that we can't go, we go back into another contract, it's going to be more money and more money down the road. It's going to cost you more later on than now.
I don't know if we can predict the future like that, sir.
Well, I think we did, because we just got
Once we get the buildings down, I mean, we're already starting to, it's not like we're just gonna tear them down and not do anything.
You're going to see on top of it.
In the interim, while the buildings are down, it's extra green space, which I think we can all agree is nice down there. And then after that, I mean, immediately, we're already starting to work on the financing. I'm putting together a finance package to bring to you all to say, we're moving forward with this. We're tearing these buildings down to move forward with the city building. It's been talked about for 10 and 15 years. We spent the first hour of the meeting talking about storage and the need for a place to have our own council meetings and civic space. And I'm sitting here telling you, for the first time in 10 years, we are doing that. We are being initiative. We're going to tear down these buildings. And we're not just going to sit around and twiddle our thumbs. We're putting together the finance package that I can bring to you and say, look, the TIF money for the development isn't there to pay for the city building. But we've been financially savvy enough over the last 10 years that we can afford this thing. We can afford it right now. So we're not just going to tear down the buildings and just wait for this money to come in. We can do this now.
You can do it, but should you?
We absolutely,
There are no
we absolutely
studies.
should. We
You have no
absolutely should.
studies, you have no professionals that have come in and
I don't
studied
need to
that
have a
land.
study done to tell me 701 is unstructurally fit. I don't care if it is structurally fit.
Beth,
Okay.
with all due respect,
Okay,
it's public now, public
Okay.
comment. So I disagree respectfully that I think we should keep those buildings until we have everything ready to go. If
We
have
are
that-
ready to go, that's what I'm saying. We're ready to move forward.
But when do you expect a new city building to be in space?
Realistically, if we put together the finance package and it works for the city, which I believe it will, we can start design on it next year. No questions asked.
We could start design on today.
But once you get to,
I mean, I'm
I'm
drawing
talking
it.
about a real design, I'm talking about a construction design, not, let's just look at pretty pictures, let's put something together that we're going to build.
But my argument is those buildings can be demolished in a day, correct? Okay, a week.
Couple days.
Let's say a week. Let's give them a long coffee.
You're probably right. Yeah, by the time you get it down, get it cleaned up.
Okay, so why are we demolishing something that could take a week when we can use it in the interim?
You can't use it in the interim.
What do you want to do in the building?
503.
You can't rent these out, they are nasty buildings.
I'm not asking to rent them out, sir.
What are you gonna use it for? We're already saying we're only using it for storage, and the people that do store the things in there don't even wanna go in them.
503 or the house in the corner?
I would not step another foot into 501. It was the worst house I've ever been in my life.
501 or 503?
501. Going
Is
in,
the one directly next to 701?
going in 503 and 505 tomorrow, and from what I've been told, they're equally as bad. And they're not historically significant.
That's up to the debate.
They're not historically significant. They're off the properties. I'm getting ready to close on 505 tomorrow. I'm gonna hold it up. Do I just rent it out? Do I not close on it tomorrow? I mean, let's
You
be
never rented out
realistic.
701.
Let's be realistic about this. We've been planning on this for 10 years. We finally have the building. And now we're gonna start all over. I mean, we're gonna tear these down to move forward. We're not tearing them down to twiddle our thumbs. We're putting this plan in place to move this forward. It's design it, not just pretty pictures, construction drawings, and get this thing built. Yes, we're going to keep green space there. It's going to be a community center. It's what we've been talking about tonight. It's what we need. We don't have it. Now we have the opportunity to do it. Obviously, the point of just starting over, I'm sorry. for 701 that we haven't been able to rent out in 10 years, that the city hasn't put any money into for 15 years. We've had to evict everybody out of the other houses because they're so nasty. We're closing on one of the properties tomorrow. I mean, I wouldn't recommend closing on the house if you all want to sit on this for. Why spend $65,000 and just look at a building sit there?
I mean, we got electricians that are looking how we can wire up the monument till we get these houses out of there. So why do we want to stop now? I mean, if you want to make a motion, you can make the motion.
I'll make a motion that we halt the demolition of the houses until a better plan is in place to be determined.
Motion by Baker.
If I can't get a second, then I'll let it die in the line. Understood.
Anyone else have any more new business?
I do, sir.
All right.
You do with that?
No, that's fine.
I just want to remind everybody that school starts again on August 16th, 2 weeks from today. I'm sure Chief Hatfield, it's always crazy at the beginning of school with different traffic patterns, etc. The first football game is next Friday, the 11th. I was wondering if there was, Rich, as long as you're here, if there was any action on the disabled van on Upper Vine Street across from the football stadium entrance. I've been there a while. If you could take a look at that, I would appreciate it because it's an eyesore. It puts our city in a bad light. The other thing was I asked months ago on a citizen.
What do you want done?
Right across on Vine Street, right before you go into the football stadium, there's a red barn on the right. And beside that barn is a van with the windows blown out and it's all overgrown. I know the challenges with that property, but if you could do something about that van legally before the football
Is that
season
on
starts.
public street or is it in a lot?
It's private property. It was cited today.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. But with school starting, a couple months ago, I brought a citizens petition to council and asked administration to look at putting, I hate speed bumps myself, but it makes sense in the alleyway behind the Purple Poulet in that block there. It's a concrete alley, very smooth. A lot of people, when they're dropping their kids off in the morning, instead of waiting, if they're coming from the east side of town, they'll cut down Dayton Avenue and go down that alley so they don't have to sit at the light of Berry. And a citizen has asked that we put speed bumps there because they come flying down that alley too fast. Wondering if that was negated or, shot down, or if there's any plan for that, so I can get back to them on it.
Yeah.
So the alley plow.
We do plow the alley, but also, it's like anything else, the council makes the motion. It passes or don't pass, it passes, and I carry that.
Oh, okay. That wasn't mentioned when I brought that up, I'm sorry, sir. In that case, I'd like to make the motion to put 2 speed bumps, just 2, in the 600 block of the alley between 5th and 6th. Just 2 speed bumps. When you get down beside the Baptist church and then behind the Eagles.
I assume those speed bumps will be located near the ends of the alley?
Well, you probably want to put them about 1/3 of the way down each way.
Most of them are in the middle of the alleys.
I don't want as many as in Ben's alley, but.
Here's, if you put them in the middle and they speed back up, they go right out into the street where the kids are walking across. I mean, if you're going to put 2.
Well, there's stop signs at either end. They're worried about backing. We're trying to encourage off-street parking.
There
We're
are
trying
stop signs at the end of the alleys?
Well, then there should be if there's not.
There
I'm
is.
talking about slowing down the traffic.
But also, if you go into that alley, you better have a high car, like mine, because you don't get bottom out, right there by the church, you bottom out.
Oh, yeah, to get into that alley, but once they get in there, and I've watched them, it's a wide alley, very smooth, and people go too fast down there. It's a citizen petition, and I'm bringing forward to council, I make the motion to put 2 speed bumps in there.
Motion by Councilman Neary to put 2 speed bumps in the 600 block of 6th, between 6th and 5th.
600 block of the alley between 6th and 5th.
Yeah.
I think we'll take a look at the map on that. But it's an alley, and almost every alley has speed bumps throughout it, correct? Maybe I'm just lucky enough to have those.
This does not have speed.
No, it does not. And there's families with children.
Baptist church is by the
Placement is to be considered.
I'm looking for a
Question, they currently, I know my
I'm
back
looking
alley's
for a-
never plowed.
I'll second the motion so we can have a discussion.
Thank you.
They're hard to, they're possible, mostly impossible to plow with these speed bumps that tear up our plow. I mean, I understand that, I understand that.
Sometimes
The
you
one
say this, I don't
for
know.
that, but these things do break our plows and these things are cheap.
We put up caution signs or slow signs instead of speed bumps.
This is a matter of public safety, and public safety is more than just fire trucks and police cars.
Well, then they
This
may
is
be
a matter of
icy and
public
snowy
safety.
in the wintertime and everything.
For as much as it snows around here versus those alleys being used every day, I can see where this is. This will make that neighborhood safer.
I could see it,
Joe, I'm just trying to check out
especially
the
at
maps.
the very end of that alley, the very end. It would be a safety issue because Lincoln School lets out and those kids walk up the street, 6th Avenue, they walk across that alley. And if speeding is a problem there and they can come out, then
No, the issue was brought to me by a citizen who lived pretty much in the middle of the block. That by the time they get in that alley and over that hump by the Baptist church, they get in there and they floor it, and then of course, they gotta stop at the end. It's in the middle of the block.
I'm worried if they're flooring it, why would they, I'm worried about it not stopping here.
No, they already do. I'm trying to make it easier for these people to use off-street parking, back out of their parking space. And if their kids are playing in their backyards, like we hope kids would, that they're not gonna have a car screaming by. I can see his point, that's why I made the motion. I think it makes sense. We have a second?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did, second.
that's right.
But we're in comments.
Understood.
Okay. Anyone else have any more comments on this? All right. We will have a roll call vote on this one.
Member Baker?
Aye.
Member Haas?
Aye.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Holter?
Aye.
Member Burns?
No.
Member Neal?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, sir. That's all I got. Believe it or not, that's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else have any new business?
Mayor, I just have one thing. I'll send this out to you all at the council. Jay Brewer wanted me to mention to you, they're changing their open house for council members from August 4th to August 10th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Originally, it was going to be this Friday. 6 to 8.
Anyone else have any new business? All right, we don't need any executive session, what I was told, so I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second by Denny, all in favor?
Aye.
I told you.